Everybody wakes up in the morning and they are
Guys, once again, it's Sunday morning. Actually, it's Sunday morning. It's the 17th of March, 2024. And I'm going to have to denote that I'm watching CBS Sunday News or CBS Sunday Morning. And actually, it's 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm here in Orlando, Florida, once again.
Here's a deeper understanding of what's happening.
I'm going to have to explain what I'm going to have to explain to you guys. Okay, and yes, this is Shawn Dexter. Hold on.
When you wake up in the morning, we want to be your go-to team.
I don't go to work in the morning. I go for coffee with my two good friends, and we talk about the world.
Your morning routine just got better. CBS News.
I'm going to have to show you guys. So once again, it's March 17th, 2024, Sunday. And
there's you, there's the painting, and you,
and
me.
Marsha Day Harden won an Oscar for her role as artist Lee Krasner.
So, yeah, I have certain things I'm going to have to explain to you guys. Okay, so yeah, this is my washing machine. I'm doing my laundry. I do laundry every couple of days or so forth. We have a dryer. We're going to have to clean up the house before my mother gets in here a bit better, but everything is functional, for the time being. Oh, not for the time being, but everything is functional and certainly will be perfected moving forward. But anyway, yeah, and I need you guys to see, I'm still in my Florida sandals. I'm still in Florida. And but yeah, so we're gonna have the free trade and economic area of the Americas in 2025, and the correlating free trade and economic agreement of the Americas will be established in 2025. Obviously, signed and ratified, and it'll immediately lead to the creation of the economic area of the Americas. Immediately at that point, it'll be official. So the Organization of American States will make sure of that, and it'll become some sort of not auxiliary or external, organ or system of the Organization of American States. It will become fundamental to the Organization of American States. And speaking of the EAA, the Free Trade and Economic Area of the Americas. And yes, I want you guys to understand this. The Caribbean community, CARICOM, is not going to be dissolved. And the Organization of American States itself, the encompassing Organization of American States itself, it's not going to be dissolved at all. It's going to evolve into becoming the Union of the Americas in 2049. But the Caribbean community itself, CARICOM, is not going to be dissolved. It's still a regional community of political and social competence, of political and economic or economical and social competence, and that's not going to be refuted. So once again, the Caribbean community, CARICOM, is a regional union, even though we don't say the word union, of political, economic, financial, and social competencies. Okay, and it's going to serve as the lead and political caucus within the General Assembly of the Americas, meaning the OAS General Assembly, upon its evolution or its transformation in 2025 with the EEA and the corresponding Free Trade and Economic Agreement of the Americas, the FTEAA. Okay, so whenever I do make a mistake and I say EEA, that's just a slight mistake, but I always, so EAA, the Free Trade and Economic Area of the Americas, EAA, the Free Trade and Economic Agreement of the Americas, correlating an authority, inducing, incepting, and protecting the EAA, will be called the FTAA. Okay, so yes, the Caribbean community will become the leading political caucus within the General Assembly of the Americas, and it will be able to make law, continental law, in support of the EAA and the prerogatives of the Organization of American States, over all member states of the Organization of American States, including us, the United States of America. We're going to ease the world into continental unions, and we're going to have to show, demonstrate to them how commendable we are in tutoring the whole world, in negotiating these things here at home in the Americas, and outward with the help of Interpol and the United Nations. I'm referring to the United States government and its lead, the Central Intelligence Agency. So yes, I am nominally and officially the chief manager of the United States government and its partnerships via contracts, negotiated, per my negotiation with the Central Intelligence Agency and Interpol as the chief manager of the Central Intelligence Agency and Interpol. I am honestly the chief manager of the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, and Interpol, and that's how I got to contract with the United Nations and so many other civil society and intergovernmental and international and multinational organizations to becoming officially and nominally the chief manager of the United States government and its partnerships. Okay, so I do know what I'm talking about. I do recall when I grew. Actually, I lived for a year in Antigua and Barbuda as a 12-year-old, and I do remember the OAS building. And so I'm not too sure if it's still functional, the building. It's a bit isolated. I remember it. I'm pretty sure it's still in some sort of field, not a field, but some sort of park. It's right adjacent to a park. I do recall that. But anyway, that does not. It's a lack of activity. A recent activity does not mean that there's any diminution of the Organization of American States within the Caribbean or elsewhere in the hemisphere. Okay, so I need this stated. And okay, I'm not delusional at all. Okay, I'm certainly not delusional. I do need you guys to know this. I did authors Thomas Jefferson. Honestly, I am Jesus Christ, I am God, and that was known when I was Thomas Jefferson. Okay, over 200 years ago, almost 300 years ago. Okay, 300 years ago. Okay, I really did author. One of my pen names was John Locke, and my other pen name was David Hume. My other pen name was Jacques Rousseau. My other pen name was Thomas Paine. I wrote Common Sense and the Rights of Man. I wrote all of the works noted as being authored by John Locke. I wrote all the works being noted as authored by David Hume and Jacques Rousseau. That's all I did as Thomas Jefferson was work, right, ever since my young age. Okay, so I do know what I'm talking about. The three branches of government, modern government, the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary, they honestly, in all honesty, are the core fundamental parts of contemporary and modern government. But the supplemental and the complemental organs that I have presented to the world in this particular life tenure, Shawn Dexter John, honestly covered by me as Du Bois, prepared by me as Du Bois, in having I prepared to become the greatest agent ever, greatest intelligence and security agent ever. We had it covered up with Sean Connery. We hired Sean Connery to cover for me as Du Bois, my future self. I was known, one of my aliases back then was Sean Johnson, and I did remove the SON in a few communication and said Sean John. I did hire Sean Connery to cover that up. This was always anticipated. My parents did have British citizenship. I was born in a country that was a British associate state before becoming independent and sovereign, based on American philosophy and the Central Intelligence Agency negotiation and staging. But anyway, but yeah. So yes, I did plan for this. I am the greatest agent ever, the greatest CIA agent ever. Within that, and I'm not the greatest joke ever. Okay, guys. I just need everyone to know that. Okay?